Cool. So today we will discuss. I think we did not discuss Uber problem, did I? Did I?
No, we did not.
Right. So today we will be discussing the Uber system design of Uber services, like design Uber like service. Right. So I think I explained like what are the first things which we should look for whenever we are designing a system. What were there?
First was requirement.
So let's collect the requirements. So requirement wise, the first requirement or a functional requirement will be like
I should
user
be able to
uh,
book a cab.
to book a cab, right? That's the major requirement. Book a cab. That's good. The second one is
Um, Maybe regarding payment, I should be able to make payment for that.
let's say that's given. Authentication, payments, billing, everything is given. What are the other requirement? User should be able to see nearby drivers, right?
Right, right.
And what are the other requirement?
Should be able to book a cab. You should be able to pay by drivers.
User
Not
should
sure
be
if we
able
should
to.
if we should list like user should be able to connect with the driver in.
Mhm. Yeah, then that's where you book, right? And user should be able to see the or track the user driver,
Drive.
right?
Yeah, yeah,
He or she is connected to, right?
yeah.
That's another one. What is the other one?
I mean, the maybe I don't know the nearest driver. I mean, the nearest free cab should be booked. Something I don't know if that should be we should cover here.
That's algorithm, right? Functionality wise, all drivers should be update their location, right? Right. That's how your algorithm will work, right?
Yeah. So when we are looking at this Uber service, it's from both like consumer
Yes.
is the I mean the guy who is booking the cab, and
Yes.
drivers like kind of producer.
Yes. And that is the core part of the service, right? Driver's location is the most important part here. Right? That is the crux of this design requirement that driver should be able to update their status on a almost real time basis. What else?
Status should be able to see
The ride request should be able to go to multiple drivers, and whoever accepts it first gets the ride, right?
yes. Route information. We should be
Yeah.
able to see the route information.
Yeah, that's more of a feature, not a requirement. Requirement is a big thing, right? What do you achieve by that, right? By having driver status or locations all the time, you have multiple features which can build on top of it, right? So yeah, so keep yourself a bit higher level, not on the feature level, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So I think these are fair enough requirements, right? We discarded payments, we discarded authentication authorization, we discarded multiple cars, right? When you book, there are multiple cabs, price information, duration information. We discarded a lot of features, right? All we need to do, like, users should be able to book a cab, users should be able to see nearby drivers, users should be able to see the driver he is connected to, and the driver should be able to update their status on a regular basis, right?
Okay.
Non-functional requirement wise, right? System should be highly available. When you say highly available, put a number to that, right? That is like 99.99% of the time it should be available, right? The book should not take more than like 500 millisecond, right? Once you click a button book, everything like from the sorry, no, that's not correct. A book should not take more than like a minute, right? Because book happens is when you press a book button on Uber, actually it takes that request and fans it out to all the drivers which are nearby, and it depends on driver to actually accept or reject the ride, right? So this whole process should not be more than a 1 minute, right? The driver should be, whoever connected should be able to respond within a minute, and the user should be connected to the driver. By the time you just keep on like, hey, we are searching for the correct driver, right? So it should not like take 10 minutes, right? Otherwise people will be pissed off, right? The search should take less than 500 millisecond for sure, right? Because you don't want to search as soon as you open the screen. It should not take like 5 minutes to load who are the drivers who are nearby to you. And then a driver update should be every 3 seconds. So every 3 seconds, I should have the updated location for driver, right? So these are my kind of non-functional requirements. You can look into other requirement, which is reliability. If you book a cab, it should arrive at your place, so it should be reliable. Your booking should not be lost, right? Durable, your booking data should always be there, right? And what else? Available latency and consistency. Yes, the consistency is eventual. Like even if you have some mistake here and there around the driver location, it's okay. You can't just show like a driver in Mumbai in Pune, right? That's not a consistency. But if it is a few meters here and there, it's okay, right? At the same time, the user location should also be consistent. Like when it was booked, it should be shown same to the all the drivers, and across the servers, the information should flow the same, right? So that's the functional and non-functional requirement of this system. Any questions before we move forward?
No, nothing.
Good. So now let's do the back of the envelope calculation. Right. So first question, what should you ask?
How many number of for how many number of users we want to support?
Number of users, let's say we have 1 billion users.
How many of them will be accessing at a specific amount of, I mean, at specific time? For
Daily
booking,
active user.
yeah, daily active users.
Let's say 1 million.
Should we consider daily active users or I mean, because daily active users will be spread across 24 hours.
Yep.
But in reality, I mean, let's say in your daytime, it will be less, more number of users versus at night time.
Yeah,
So
that's okay. We'll come to that. But we have to design for the peak, right?
right, right.
Right. What else?
Number of users, daily active users.
How many requests people make, right?
Yes, number of requests. Yes.
Requests, right? And that is search, right? So let's say we get from this 1 billion requests, because people when leave their query, when they come back they query, right? At least 2 queries happen per user who is on the day active on our platform. So number of requests is 1 billion, and then you can easily ask the percentage of that converts to search book, right?
So when we say active users versus number of requests search, basically any active user, whoever is, let's say, searching is an active user, right?
Yes.
So I mean, what segment is like half of that?
What segment is half of that means?
Like 1 billion, we doubled, right? From 500 million to for daily active users for number of request search.
Yeah.
Now, which are the ones? See, when I say active, active means either he's booking or he's taking the ride or doing something, right? So number
Yeah.
of
Searching is also active, right? You come to the app.
okay, yeah, got it.
Yeah. So, like you can search, you are active on the app, but you are not booking.
Right, right.
right?
Yeah.
So these are 500 million people, and they're once twice a day they all look into search either for booking or just for fun, right? So that's how the search is done 1 billion time. That means on average, one user searches twice on the platform. The conversion is actually booking the cab, right? Then let's say we have 30% conversion, which is 300 million rides being booked every day, right?
Right.
Now this is the data. Now what we have to calculate is the most important is the data storage piece, right? How would you store the data, right? So what will we store for a data, right? For user, you will
Right.
store user ID,
Right.
right? And the name, let's say, and that's it, right? Maybe other information, but this will not be much of information. So I don't know what it will add to, but it will not be much. It will be around 1 GB, 2 GB, right? So it's not a big one, but trips is important, right? So when you book, there are 300 million bookings happening per day, and each book will have, hey, what was the, sorry, there will be a trip ID, right?
Yeah.
There will be user ID who booked it.
Driver ID something.
Yeah. And then there will be a driver ID who is taking the ride, and
Time. I don't know. Source and destination and time something.
source location, right? Longitude, latitude,
Right.
destination location, right? Longitude, latitude. So longitude, latitude add up to 8 bytes, right? So this is 4 bytes. Let's say this is 1 billion. Let's make it 8 bytes. Trip IDs. Let's make it 8 bytes, right? So this is what we have, and then there is a payment information, everything. But let's ignore that. For this is the bare minimum information we want to store for each trip. Yeah, getting my point?
Yeah, yeah. I'm getting, sir.
Yeah. So 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8, 32 plus 34, 36 multiplied by 300 million. So this is the data which is flowing in our database on a daily
Daily,
basis. So
daily basis.
108 multiplied by 10 to the power 8, right? Million is 10 to the power 6, and
Yes,
these two,
perfect. That's
right?
right.
That makes 10.8 multiplied by 10 to the power 9. That means 10 GB of data or 11 GB of data
Daily.
growth, right?
Right.
So this is on a daily basis, you are growing with the number of trips. So in a year, you will need 365 gigs of data. This one 3000 gigs of data. That means 3.65 TB.
Terabytes.
Right. So that's your growth. I did not store any search thingy, like what search was going on. I did not store anything around the drivers because we are storing the driver information as well. We did not anticipate anything around the driver's location because that is more transient, right? But you will have driver profile, but that will not add up to that much because that's a one thing, a one time thing. That's not add to growth, right? Yeah, of course it will add to growth in terms of like number of drivers which are coming to your platform and number of users coming to your platform, but that will be initial growth and it will not be much even, right? For example, if you want to store a driver, it will be a driver information, driver ID, driver name, maybe car type, car model, whatever, right? It will add up to let's say 100 bytes. Yeah. And you have let's say 100 billion 100 million user. So 100 byte multiplied by 100, that will add up to max 1 GB, right?
Right.
So it's not a big trouble there. So growth is the trouble, right? Because the trips are happening daily and they will start growing as the users grow and as the drivers grow, right? So the 300 will become 600, and then your whole size of the database will go to 7.5 TB or whatever, right? So growth is important to calculate compared to the static data, which is drivers and users. Got my
So,
point?
sir, yeah, sir, information like let's say number of drivers in a specific, let's say, area. when I'm searching and when they are roaming around my area and I'm getting all this information. Do we store that as well?
That depends on how what you are trying to log, right? I don't think that is important to store, but it is important to actually log it, right? What
Right.
drivers you shown, what got booked, and all those things. But you don't store that information in the database. This is not a persistent information, right?
Right.
You don't want it to be queried,
Sure.
right? So this is our back of the envelope calculation for Uber. Now comes the system design piece, which is high level design, right? So now let's start with this. We have a user, and this is our services load balancer. This is where our web servers are located. So users say like, hey, search. What search will do is it will go to the web server, and web server will call search service, right?
Yeah.
And then search service will go to the database and then select, hey, based on what search will contain is user ID, the location of the user, which is longitude and latitude of the user, right? We'll go into the database. We have 1 million drivers who have their updated status here 3 seconds back. We query the database and it's like, hey, based on this location, we have these 5 drivers which are in our system, which are close to us, and we send back the result and then say we show it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, where do you see the bottleneck in the system?
One search,
Yeah.
because the data is getting updated every 3 seconds.
Yeah.
So I mean that search will not be faster.
Search will not be faster, and then it's not faster in relational database, right? You can't
Yes.
just like you have to always you just cannot have the like, hey, nearby in a database. That's not how relational databases work, right?
Yes.
And you have to also see like, hey, how much distance is a nearby? Is it 1 kilometer, 2 kilometer? And then based on that you calculate the longitude and latitude. So like if you are here, right, as a user, this is your nearby, right? So
Yes.
every point in this circle, right, the driver can be present,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
And what you have to do is you have to check for every point in this. Every longitude and latitude in this circle, you have to check if there a driver is not. If any driver is in within these longitude and latitude, that means that driver is near to this search user, right?
Right.
So that is not very efficient system, right? And we haven't yet updated the what do you call how would drivers update the records now? Because that's another concern of ours, right? So let's say we have some service which is called location update, right? Location update service. So this is driver, and let's say driver updates the location, and then this writes. So this is writing and this is reading. This is a problem, right? Read and writes are happening on the same server. So the first step we can do is we can separate read and write, right? So we can
Right.
create a master or a primary and secondary server configuration where the write happens on the primary server and then read happens on the secondary server. But that doesn't solve the problem, because the MySQL database or the relational database is not the ideal database for this kind of data structure to store, right? Nearest, if you want to query based on nearer drivers, it's not a great place to start looking into, right?
Yes.
So how do we look into things?
Yeah.
Let's
Probably because the structure is like a graph, maybe a graph DB. Mm.
Uh, so
Uh,
structure is not graph, because structure is more of like geographical, right? And to store geographical data, there is a very good data structure called quad tree. Have you heard about it?
Quad tree. No, I haven't, sir.
Yeah.
No, I haven't, sir.
So quad tree is a data structure where we divide the entire geographical region into pieces, right? So for example, let's say this is your entire world,
Okay.
right? And we divide into the four pieces. We say like, hey, this is piece one, piece two, piece three, piece four. So if you are in this, all the drivers which are in this region are nearby for you, right? If you're in this location is in this, or location in this and this, right? Whatever is there, all the drivers in that are nearby to you. But let's say if you divide the world into four parts, right, then the area is too much, right? Then India and China is in the same part, and then you just like get a cab which is nearby to you in, let's say, Shanghai, and you're standing in Mumbai,
Right.
right? That's not ideal. So what we do is we keep on dividing this tree, right? Each of this particular quadrant actually divided further into four, then again further into four. So like a binary search tree, right? In binary search tree we have two children. Here we have four children, right? And
Right.
when do we stop, right? Because that's a very interesting question. When do we stop like dividing this further and further and further? So like let's say when you divide the world into four, India and China in the same one, then you divide it further, then India and China in a different quadrant, then you divide it further, then Delhi and Mumbai are in different quadrant, then you divide it further, then Mumbai is in one corner, split it into two parts, South Mumbai and North Mumbai. Then you've divided further, South Mumbai is divided into five different or four different parts, and then
Right.
further till the time you get to a certain area,
Okay.
right? So now what we want to do is,
Can
uh,
we not? Can we not, like, let's say in this use case, let's say we can divide in terms of range, or in terms of distance, like, uh, within 1 minute, when the radius becomes one kilometer, or the
mm,
distances between different uh, uh, let's say quad or squares becomes 1 kilometer, something like that, then you
yeah,
stop.
that's the one way to divide it. Like where you get, hey, this quad actually stores 1 kilometer of area,
Yes.
right? But is it that efficient? Is that efficient? That's my question is, because three-fourth of the world is water. Do you want to store the quad trees for them?
No.
Do you want to create like a entire Pacific Ocean in 1 kilometer quad?
No.
There's no point, right? There will be no data. Nobody is driving cab in that area, right? And similarly for rural areas, right? Cities will have much more cabs than a rural area,
Yes.
countryside, right? So there is no point like having it static to 1 kilometer, because then you'll have so many quads just storing nothing,
Right.
right? So what will be the good idea to actually divide quads on? Right? The quad can be divided into based on the density of the drivers in that quad. Let's say we want to have at max five drivers in a quad, right?
Okay.
So then you divide. If there are like 1,000 drivers in a quad, then you divide the quad into further, and if there is nothing, then you keep it like that. Getting my point?
Yes. Yes, sir. I'm getting it.
Yeah. So when you start dividing, when you reach to Mumbai, there are like maybe 100,000 drivers on Mumbai, right? Then you start dividing it further. Then you become like, hey, still there are 1,000 in this quad, right? Still bigger. Then you divide it further, and then you reach to like, hey, there are five drivers in each quadrant, right? So all the other quadrants which are in rural area, which are in ocean, which are in seas, right, they will not be divided because they will always have zero drivers, so that is less than five, right? So they stop dividing at very up. Getting my point?
Yes. Yes.
So the chord tree divide the chord tree not based on the geographical area, but divide the number of instances you want, right? Similarly, there is another problem called Yelp, right? Where you want to search the nearby restaurant, right? Again, there will be no restaurant in middle of the Pacific Ocean, right?
Right.
So you don't want to divide the things on geographical area, but you want to divide it based on number of restaurants there are in the quad, right?
Got it.
Maybe
Got it.
1 kilometer in Amsterdam or New York, you will have so many restaurants compared to um, maybe 500 kilometers in the desert,
Right.
right? So you want to divide it based on the numbers, not on the geographical area. So let's say got this quad tree, we got it, we put it in the place, and we, based on the user's location, we go to the quad which user belongs to, and then we take the drivers, because we already kept the size of the quad to 5, right? We keep it and we just return it back, right?
Right.
So let's draw it again.
And this updation of this squad will be real time. I mean, how?
Let's come to that.
Uh,
Let's come to that.
okay. Okay.
Right. So this is our driver. This is our web servers, LB web servers, uh, search service, and then this is web server, and then this is location service. Right. So search service will read through this quad tree. Let's say now this is not a relation database, but it's a quad tree, and then driver will update the quad tree. Right? That is the flow, right?
Yes.
But now, as you already mentioned, like the drivers have to update this location all the time, right? And that means we will be updating quad tree all the time, and then quad tree will always be moving, because if the driver goes out, then there are only four drivers in the quad, then you have to club them together into other one, right? And then if one more enters, then you have to split it, and that will be too much, right? That will be too much of work on the quad tree. That we don't want that. Every 3 seconds, we don't want that, right?
Yeah.
So what we can do?
Maybe some caching we can put.
So let's say we will update quad tree in every 15 seconds. Rather than 3 seconds, we'll update 15 seconds. Now it's okay, because even the user gets 15-second delay, or a stale information about the locations of the user. It's okay, because now the user is taking the approximate
Yes.
uh,
Yes.
position, right? They don't want exact position, right?
Right.
So you reduce the number of writes on the quad tree first, right? But as soon as you book a cab, right, you want exact location, right?
Right.
That's where you need every update on the user's driver's location, and that is not where the quad tree is helping, because that is more of an approximate thing, because it's 15 seconds delay. Even you can make it 1 minute delay, right? Depending on that, right? So now to solve that problem, that where a user has booked this, search wise the quad tree will work, right? Search wise, even if it is a bit delayed, we can make sure that whenever we get the location update, we don't update every location update, but we update every fifth location update onto the quad tree, right?
Right.
So we reduce the traffic to less the quad tree. But if I have booked it, I want it to real time. I want it every 3 seconds, even 1 second, right? That's another problem, right? So that
Yes.
is where we introduce a concept of call a cache, right? So what we do is we create a cache here, right, between location service and quad tree, right? So what happens is location service updates this cache about the driver, right? Whatever driver, 1 million drivers we have, right? This is another concept which you should use in Uber. Is Uber can divide its data based on cities, right? So they don't need to store 100 million drivers on one server. right? Because a driver in New York will never serve somebody in Amsterdam or somebody in London,
Yes.
right? So you can keep those drivers data, even users data, right, in a separate servers. And then you can say, okay, if this request is coming from London, we should go to the London cache and London query, rather than clubbing entire world's data and then searching in that. Getting my point?
Yes.
So that's another layer which Uber does, is regionalization of their servers, right? Because they know that, okay, their server service is so location specific, right, that they can do that on the server basis. So nobody from India will be using a cab driver who is in London, and other way around,
Yeah.
right? So they can keep those servers in a different or in a separate way. So let's say we are defining it for, let's say, London, right? And then we have, like, let's say 100K drivers in London. All of them are in this cache server, right? And all of them's location, their location, whenever they update the location, we put it here, right? And every minute or every 15 seconds, there is a job which reads this location and updates the quad tree, right? So when driver updates the location every 3 seconds, it takes that location service and puts it to the cache, right? And then cache, after every 1 minute, it the job runs and it updates the quad tree. And then if you're searching, it will update the your search result. Getting my point?
Yes. Yes, sir, I'm there.
Now you want to give the location update, right, to the user when he books it, and that's where the new let's see the book flow, how would the book flow work, right? So let's say now the search results are arrived and the user books, right? So let's say there is a booking service, right? And what booking service will do is it will just find out using the quad tree, right? Or actually, sorry, it will send us the booking cab ID, right? Sorry, not booking cab ID yet, not booked, right? It will send us like, hey, book this request. What we'll do is we'll again go to the quad tree. We'll say like, hey, which were the nearest, still nearby drivers, and we get, like, let's say rating of the rating service will rank these drivers on a certain way. And what we'll do is we'll take top 5 or 10 of them and we'll fan out the
Okay.
request to them, like, this is driver one, this is driver two, this is driver three, and so on, right? So now this service, what we'll do is it will fan out to this particular drivers, and the drivers, let's say this accepts it, right? This driver accepts it.
Mhm.
Now what you have to do is you have to send reject to all of them, right? Saying, hey, this is cancelled now, right? Because one is now booked,
Excellent. Yeah.
right? So this is how it will flow. But now the problem starts, right? Now D1 and the user one have been connected, right?
Mhm.
Now D1, sorry, user one actually wants to see the location of driver one. He doesn't want to see the nearby drivers now, right? And that has to be real time,
Yes.
right? So when you're doing the booking, what we do is we use a service called subscription service. What it does, it says like, hey, whenever this D1 is mapped, it enters a record saying that this user ID is mapped to this D1, right? And what this service is used for is, there is, let's say, this is location update from the um, from the driver, right? But there is another service which is called notification, right? What it does is it takes the subscription, right, reads the subscription. Whenever there is an update on this side, it see like, hey, if the location of the driver has updated, who all have subscribed to this driver, and that will send an update to the user about it, and then user's mobile will see the location updated. So when you book, you subscribe to a driver, right? And then the service which looks into that, right? Whenever there is a location update of the driver, takes that update and pushes it onto the user so that you get real time. So it doesn't use the quarterly because that will come 1 minute later. But as soon as there is an update here, right, all the subscription which are happening, all the user who have subscribed on that particular user actually gets the notification.
So is it like some, let's say, Kafka or some kind of message queue in which this location information will go and based
Yes.
on the driver?
Yes. So this location service actually will send out an event to all the subscribers which are subscribed to this particular event, right? So what will happen is your consumers will see, like, if I have a subscription which actually is looking for this driver info, if yes, then it will take it. If no, then it will discard it, right?
Okay. Okay.
Actually, we can start using, when you have search, right? And you got 5 drivers on your app, you see them moving. Do you see that?
Yes.
Right. So that is where we are sending the real time updates to those drivers as well. So instead of doing the subscription at the time of book, we can do the time of search result itself. Like when we send 5 drivers to the user, we can actually make a subscription to that user, to these 5 drivers, right? And then say, like, hey, push all the updates of these 5 drivers to this particular user, right? So when the search is happen, you can see the drivers moving, right? So they are not like 1 minute delayed, right? So, and then when the book happens, instead of adding a subscription, you remove the subscription, because now whoever got rejection, you're not interested in doing their location, getting their location updates, right? So you just unsubscribe from those drivers, and then you keep the one which you just booked.
Right.
Getting the complexity here?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So now that is being done, what else is important here? Like what will be the subscription is done. The important part here is, as soon as you search or you book, this has to be two-way communication, because we will be sending you the location update, right? The Uber service will be sending you the location update, and that means this has to be bi-directional connection. And then same will be here, because we want to update the, if user moves around, we want to update the driver, and also we want to push the book notification to the user driver, right? So they have to be connected. So what kind of connection it has to be, because HTTP is client to server.
WebSocket.
So WebSockets. So as soon as you open a application, your WebSocket will uh, socket connection will stay there till the time you book, and then you finish the ride. When you shut down the application, that's where the connection is stopped, and it's bi-directional. So you can make a request and you can get the updates.
One thing, sir, to maintain these many connections, let's say for 1 billion users, I mean, what it will take? I mean, maintaining such a huge connection itself will, I don't know what kind of server and how the number of servers and how they are distributed.
Good. I think that's a good question, but I think nowadays production grade servers can support a lot of connection. Yeah. So I don't think that will be a big problem. Yes, but you have to think of that, because this will be persistent connections for a long time. Like if the ride is 15 minutes, that means your connection will be 15 minutes, right? So it's not a transient connection where HTTP request establish the connection, gets the response, and shuts it down,
Right.
right? So definitely you have to make sure that your servers have enough of capacity to serve those many connections at the same time, which will long for more than a 15, more than, let's say, on average a trip time is 15 minute, then more than 15 minutes, right?
Right. Okay.
So that's a good scalability problem. How would you solve that? That's a good problem. Good thing. What else is remaining? I think we covered the location of the driver update. We covered the search. We covered the subscription. We covered the booking flow. Anything else you think should be covered here? And we have covered it in all in 50 45 minutes, which is the interview round actually.
No, I think it's. I'm not sure if we have missed anything.
Cool. You can read on quadries, read on WebSockets, read on regional distribution of data, uh, read on subscription models like Kafka's and everything, because this subscription service will register the subscription and spawn a consumer on a queue which is fed by this location service, right? And then you take that and then push it up to the user, right? So there are multiple concepts here: quad tree, WebSocket, Kafka queues, fan out, subscription model.
Sure. I'll do that. Cool, sir.
Cool.
Yeah.
Good. So this is done. I will cover another problem tomorrow, which is YouTube. We did not cover YouTube yet, right?
YouTube, I think we covered. Didn't. No, no, no. We
Covered.
covered that Twitter and all those things, right? In that we said that YouTube upload will also be similar problem.
No, YouTube is a bit different. No, we will do for Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. It will be the same, but YouTube is different because it's video. Right?
Sure.
So we will cover that tomorrow. So that will cover all the problems like Twitter and all those things. So that will finish the problems on this particular stuff. Any other question you have?